Hi guys, this is Mrs. Deffenbaugh, and I wanted to show you how to insert pictures into this pre-write document that I gave you. So you were supposed to pick a memory, and I don't want it to be anything broad. I don't want like your entire vacation. I want something very, very specific, like one day or one event that happened that you thought was funny or really memorable. And in these boxes right here, you can go ahead and just type what your memoir is about. I've set it up so that the text wraps right into that box. And so you can just go ahead and type what your memoir is about, who it's involved, when it took place, where it took place, and why the event took place. And then what I want you to do is you have some options here, and I have a couple of things set up right now for you to kind of take a look at. But you can sketch what happened right before the most important event. You can sketch the most important event and then what happened right after the important event. And so I have three different options that I gave you. One of them was to go into Paint and draw a picture and then save that and insert it, which I've done here, and I'm going to show you how to do that here in just a second. Another option that you had was to just find a image online that kind of connects with your memory, obviously, and then insert that image. Or you could draw it out on a piece of paper and you actually take a picture of it and then insert that image into these boxes. So the first way you can do this is just right here with Paint. So if you go into Paint, and I have created this already, but you just use the pencil tool, whatever. If you want to do color, that's fine. I just did kind of a sketch here, and draw in your image. And so if you remember, I told you a story about my dad he had us all sitting around the table telling us about how we have terrible table manners. And my little sister was sitting at the end of the table in a high chair. And as he was telling us about our table manners and how to hold our forks and all those kinds of things, he looks up and sees my sister, and she has taken her bowl of spaghetti and put it on top of her head. And I don't know if you remember me telling you that story, but I did that a while ago. So this is the picture of what I drew, and obviously I'm no artist here, but what I drew before the memorable event, which was, of course, spaghetti on top of her head. And so I've got my dad here, my siblings, and then my little sister in the high chair. So then you're going to go ahead and save this image. Now, I've already saved this image, but I'm going to do it again. I'm going to use Save As instead of Save. And I want to save it as an image, and I want to make sure that I save it as a JPEG. Sometimes it might show up PNG, but you want to make sure you change that to JPEG. And I'm just going to put table manners for this particular story. Also, make sure you know where you're saving it. I'm going to save it in my pictures folder and save that image. Then I'm going to go into Excel. I'm going to delete this one since I've already put it in here. And you're going to go ahead and go Insert Picture, not an online picture because this is a picture you've saved. So I'm going to go in, find my image, which is in Pictures down here at the bottom. Here's Table Manners, and I'm going to insert that picture. You notice how it's quite large and will not fit in that box. So I can make it smaller, but notice the shape of my image just doesn't work. And so if I'm in that Format tab for pictures right here, there is this button called Crop. And I can go ahead and crop this and get rid of all of that white space so it will fit, so it will fit in that box better. And then once I crop it, I can just hit crop, and it'll crop it for me, and then I'm going to make it even smaller so it fits in the box. And so that's one way that you can go ahead and insert 3 sketches. You can save them as 3 different images in Paint. Another option that you can do is go online and find a picture, and so you would just go into Insert Pictures Online and search. So when I went to Insert Pictures Online, I put spaghetti on head, and sure enough, this would be a great picture. And I can go ahead and hit Insert, and I can use this picture. Whoops, sorry. Where did my whole document go here? I've lost. Oh, there we go. Sorry. And then I could go ahead and, even though that one's really cute too, and then I can just go ahead and put that in that box. And so this is kind of a fun tool that you could use. Obviously, these are not my sister, but that would work. I get the idea. Another thing that you could do is actually draw the picture on a piece of paper and just take a picture of it with your phone. Same process, save it, and then go insert picture and then put it in there. So those are actually 3 really fun ways that you can go ahead and put a sketch into a document. And then the last part of this assignment is to go ahead and just fill in the plot events. And you can see you can just type right in here, the plot events, introduction. And if you think about plot, we introduce. So that's the first part where you're going to introduce your topic, kind of maybe tell a little bit about the setting, when and where it takes place. 2 is that 2 and 3 are kind of the rising action. That means that we're kind of developing a conflict. So things that story or the events that are leading up to when it is the climax, which is the most important part of the story. The climax is obviously where my dad looks up and sees her with the bowl on top of her head. Some of these rising action things that I could put down or events I could put down are what he was talking about. Terrible table manners, how many squares of toilet paper you need, because let's face it, actually that's pretty important information to know for today with everything that's going on. And then 5, the last one after the climax, that's kind of the resolution or the end of it, what happened, which obviously is probably something like we all started laughing and my dad threw his hands up in the air saying, table manners, I don't know, that might be a losing battle. So in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, these are just short little things on the events of the story, starting from the beginning of the story, some of the details you might need, the most important part, which is the climax, and then of course the end, which is the resolution or what happened. Make sure that you save this document and then email it back to me. I'm looking forward to hearing about some of your memories that you're going to be writing about.